I want you to think about the intensity of the Olympic sprinter just before they take off. They aren't talking to anybody. They aren't thinking about what's going on around them. They are in a state of absolute focus tension. Now, it's an awkward position. It's kind of a spiritual wall sit. It burns your quads and demands total concentration. That get set phase is a commitment. The problem is that most of us are waiting for God to say go, but we have not taken the time to get set. How do we go from passive waiting to active anticipation of what's next in God? I'm Lo, and you're watching Lo and Behold. Lo and Behold is a podcast where we are empowering worship leaders and creatives to lead with biblical wisdom, practical skill, and vibrant spiritual life. I'm glad you're here. Let's get started. If your family is anything like mine, then sports is a huge part of the family gathering around the holiday season. Now, you're probably watching football. Of course, there's an NFL game in just about every city, it seems like, during Thanksgiving for the holiday. There's usually a game around Christmas time, around New Year's time. At each time that the family is getting together to celebrate a holiday or a major holiday, there is some sort of game that we can all gather around the TV to watch. Now, this is a problem for me because, to be honest, I'm not that big into sports. In high school and in college, my sport was debate. My sport was mock trial. My sport was not anything physical. I didn't play any football. I didn't play any basketball. I didn't play any baseball. You get the point. And so around the holidays, when it's time together and we start watching sports, and with the way I'm set up, my wife knows a whole lot more about what's happening in the football game than I do. I don't get it. But that's usually what the holiday is surrounded. And it's probably the same way for your family as well. You probably put on, for instance, the football game around Thanksgiving time when you gather. You're probably talking about the scores from the football game, especially among the guys, because, you know, we're guys and that's apparently what we have to talk about. And so even in conversations like that, I'm kind of on the outside like, okay, yep, I agree with whatever you just said. Whatever you just said, it sounds about right. Like, did you like that? I say, yes, I did. Yes, I did. When I tell people I'm from Detroit, anywhere, and they bring up some professional player from Detroit, you know, they bring up some name on the football team, on the Lions or on the Tigers. I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. You'd be like, oh, well, you know, y'all trade and blah, blah, blah. I say, oh, you know, I thought the same thing too. Line. I don't know anything about it, but I do know from watching sports enough times, I do know that there are particular call signs for when they get ready to start a play. And one of the things that I want to focus on that I thought was so pertinent to what we're talking about today, for instance, when you are running, when you're watching an Olympic sprint, or even when you're watching football, right? They stand on the line, they stand at their stands or in their lanes, and the coach, or not the coach, a referee is saying, on your mark, get set, and then the gun is fired. In football, it's hut. Look at me. I know something about football. In football is hut. And, you know, they yell something else out and then the ball goes, or there's a clap from the quarterback letting folks know, you know, the play has started, you know, let's get the ball literally going. There is a period between the formation and the goal where there is a moment where everybody is getting in place. People get in place. They know their lanes. They know where they're supposed to go. And then they're set up to take off. We talked about that last week. And then while they are in place, once they get in place, they all take a posture. Some of them seem to be kneeling. On the football team, seem to be kneeling. Some of the runners, they're all down towards their knee. Some of them have their back straight. They have their arms up, ready to go. There is a posture that they take between the formation and the goal. There's a posture that they're taking. Today in this episode, I want to talk about that posture. And I want to talk about in our spiritual walk, in our spiritual life, how do we take that posture with God? Our key scripture today is Hebrews 11:6. It says, and without faith, it is impossible to please God. Because I like scriptures that tell me why. Because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists. That's a given. And that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. I'm going to break down all of this for you. You know, if you've been watching the Lo and Behold podcast for any length of time, you know that I like to dig deep into these scriptures and put them into context. So that way we can learn how to apply them to our own lives. We don't really know who the author is of the book of Hebrews, but we know that the author is intentional. The author is very logical. The author writes like he or she, maybe a lawyer or some sort of therapist. I love the book of Hebrews because it's written as if this is a person who is arguing a case in the court of law. And I just like legal cases and stuff like that. So that, and it got no bearing upon this. But essentially, the writer here is saying, and without faith, so without the belief, it is impossible to please God. How you go please God if you don't believe that God exists, and that he will reward you for believing in him. Reward you with what? We'll get to that in just a second. Faith here in Hebrews 11:6 is a focused tension in spiritual alignment. That's what I want to talk about. This is your posture. Right? Without faith, what is faith? How do I showcase faith? It is all about your posture. The set stance in the running metaphor is meant to, or is designed to resist the false start and maximize launch power. I want to talk about those two things in particular, resisting the false start. Even in football, just like as it is in running, somebody sometimes moves before the gun goes off, or they move before the clap. They move before the play actually start. And anytime it happens, there's a whistle blown or there's a flag thrown as a false start. And you got to start all over again. I don't really know what the rules is with football. Don't get me to line, but they got to do it all over again. They get back in the right place, and then it starts all over. And then everybody looking at the person who had the false start to see if they're going to mess up again. Everybody looking around. Did he get his hearing aids? He got it. Okay. All right. Because apparently he don't hear what's going on. We see, but apparently he don't hear what's going on up on the field. It's meant to resist the false start. It's meant from you in Hebrews 11:6. This is meant to keep you from moving without God's signal. And the thing about false start is it feels good. The thing about false starts, it seems right. Because I've been here in this place. I know where I'm supposed to be. I've been on my mark. I've already gotten set, and now I'm ready to go. And in our spiritual walk, this is what it looks like. It looks like you moving without God's direction, even though you feel like you've read God's plan. Even in the case where God has revealed to you what he wants you to do, we have a tendency to make it happen instead of waiting on God. We do, because it feels good. It feels like it's the right thing to do. So if God already told me I'm supposed to be up over here, what we do is we go outside, we put gas in the car, and then we go. And then we wonder, where is God in all of the whole journey there? The bumps that you're going to hit along the road, the road closures that you're going to have. And God is like, you wouldn't have to deal with none of this if you would have just waited until I said, go. You wouldn't have to deal with any of this if you had just paused for a moment and listened to the sound of my voice. But we do this even in our spiritual walk. We have a sense of false start. We just go for it because we think that we know better. The set position keeps us grounded and reliant on the signal from God. From God. The set position is also about maximizing power. This is where we coil our energy. Faith isn't just passive belief. It's active alignment of our will with God's timing and direction. I'm on my mark. I know where I'm supposed to go, and I'm acting in my bounds. I'm running in my lane, but I'm not doing it in the right time because this is distracting me. So I choose to slow down here. I chose to start late and then I got distracted and then I slowed down here. And then I needed to go up over here so I can fix the problem that I made up over here. And I'm still not listening. So I'm just going to continue. So I'm going to arrive at my destiny yelling at God because I'm late, because I feel like I'm late. because I feel like everybody else is passing me by, because I feel like in the timing that God said that he would do stuff, it's not being done. And I'm not realizing that I am the one who's off the mark. I am the one who is not acting in God's timing. And so I'm just blaming God for my own foolishness. Now, just like some of us when we go to work, you already know you late for work. Ain't nobody got to tell you. You got to be at work at 8 o'clock. You know it's a 20-minute drive. So you leaving at 7:45. I don't care how fast you drive. You can speed down your little side street going 100 miles an hour, which I hope you don't do, otherwise you go kill somebody. But you can speed down that side street going 100 miles an hour. You never go make it to work by 8 o'clock. Not unless you teleporting or something. Maybe they got some new device out, apparently. I don't know. They maybe got some new robot that can just fly you down there. You're never going to make it to work in 15 minutes if it's a 20-minute drive. It's just as simple as that. But we will leave the house late, knowing we go get to work late, and stop right by Starbucks. Let me see what they got today. Or if you're like me, if I'm already late, I'd be like, well, I might as well just get breakfast. I'm in the big, be like, yeah, y'all, what's that special y'all got? Y'all said y'all had it the other day. The getting set stance is about getting in a posture to listen to God and to follow God's every direction. Let me put it like this. When God brought the Israelites out of Egypt into the wilderness, he gave the Israelites manna every day. And it was set up so that way they had to either eat what they got that day or it was spoiled. They couldn't save it. They couldn't save. God said, look, fresh manna go fall today. Y'all eat it. Okay. Now be full. It's going to be enough. Be full. Be happy about it. You can't save none of it. It will spoil tomorrow. I'm giving you something fresh tomorrow. That's what it's like in our spiritual walk, even today, where God, every single day, you ought to have contact with God. Give us this day our daily bread. Jesus says when he was teaching us how to pray, give us this day. We don't like God to give us fresh bread every day. No, we like the fresh bread, but we don't want it every day. No, we take the fresh bread to last us throughout the week. And so what you got by Friday is what God talked to you about last Friday. What you got is what was saved over from Sunday. So you think you are still going in the right direction based on what God last said. And God is speaking to you every day saying, nope, slow down, stop, pause, turn here, go there. God is trying to be that in relationship with you. He's trying to be that intimate with you where you are listening to his voice consistently and constantly. In a relationship, I don't care what kind it is, whether it's a friendship, romantic relationship, whether it's a father-son, whether it's a mother-daughter relationship. If you do not talk to them every day, it's going to be hard to get directions from them. It's going to be hard to keep up because every day there's a new challenge. Every day there's an opportunity for you to learn something new. And so if you are unconnected from the source, then it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. Today, you might have to put gas in your car. I don't care nothing about you putting gas in your car last week. This month you're going to have to pay that light bill. I don't care nothing about you paid your light bill every month for the past 3 years. I don't care nothing about your rent ain't been late ever in your entire life. If you be late this month, they're going to start eviction proceedings. No, that's how that happened. They don't look at all the history and all that. No, they don't go off of that. What you need is directions and guidance for today. And so being in a set stance, that posture is asking God, I'm not moving until you tell me to go. But until you tell me to go, my getting set is getting prepared. I am being developed right where I am in this posture. You are developing me for the goal. That's deep. That's a whole nother devotional. The set period builds essential character and spiritual strength. We used to have do this thing in class growing up. I know teachers don't do that no more because they probably lock them up. But whenever we would act out of line, one of the punishments was you would have to get a book. You can hold it in your hand. You had to go in the corner. You had to sit on the wall. Do a wall sit. And it'll only be, 30 seconds a minute. But for some of us, me, that was enough. That's all I need. I don't need 5 minutes. I don't need, no, this is not a 30-minute situation. Okay. You give me 30 seconds of this and I'm done for the day. Now I'm going to get in trouble tomorrow when I come back. No, tomorrow I'm going to be well refreshed and I'm going to be ready for it. So I'm going to get in trouble again tomorrow. But at least for the rest of the day, that's all I need. No, I don't need you to teach me no more lessons. But that set phase, this reminds me of this posture. When you are in this posture, the spiritual wall set, it reminds me of what happened in school. What it's doing, though, it's building endurance and perseverance. So my friend who got in trouble every day and had to do his wall set every day, it was no problem for him because he was on the football team. So even in the 5th grade, I'm just like, look, I can't. Mm-mm. I was acting a fool with you yesterday. I can't do it today because my legs is still burning from when she had us wall sitting. No, it's still on fire. I can't be going up and down the stairs twice today because no, it's not happening. He built up perseverance and endurance. So to him, it was a no big deal that he had to do his wall sit. I want you to understand something, that in your set phase, sometimes it seems like there is a delay. Yeah, because there's a moment. There's the on your mark, and then there's a get set. You are getting ready. You are preparing, but you don't know when the go is. You don't know when that buzzer is going to go off. You don't know when that clock is going to start ticking. You don't know. The whole time, though, you are getting ready for a moment that you don't know when it's happening. You have no schedule for. You have no calendar. God didn't give you that far. He didn't say it's going to happen this day or that day. I wish he did. That show would be a lot easier. He's never telling us that it's going to be this way or that, or it's going to happen at this time or that time. No. God wants you to rely on his voice. He wants you to hear his command. And most of all, he wants you to listen for his command as you are getting prepared to do exactly what God has called you to do. And you know for sure, you are confident in who that is that you are being made to, or what you are assigned to do. God wants you to still listen to his voice. He don't give you the time. He expects you to listen to his voice for the goal. Listen to the command. God is not delaying the promise in the getting set phase, but he is hardening the foundation beneath your feet. He's making you trust him a little bit more. I think of even the Israelites once again. God said, no, go to Pharaoh and tell him, let my people go. And then, Moses going back and forth over and over. And God, I can't do it for this reason and that reason. God said, boy, go do what I told you to do. So long story short, Moses goes, say, Pharaoh, let my people go. Now, between the first time and the final time, there was some time. And I can only imagine being an Israelite. Didn't y'all say Moses talked to Pharaoh last week? Why we still here? Why we still? What you mean there's another plague? If God just don't kill us, man, and let us go. Well, my cousin Ray Ray, tell Ray Ray to go over there and handle his business, Pharaoh, so we can get up out of here. I've been packed and everything, ready to go. Moses got us all up on our tippy toes. He's got us getting set. He's got us preparing for a time, a destination, a departure that we don't know when we leave it. But Moses has got us in here getting set. And all the while, listen, God is working behind the scenes. Everybody don't know it ain't the front page of the newspaper. No, it did not make the 6 o'clock news this evening that Moses went to Pharaoh once again, that God gave Moses another word, that God is working behind the scenes. It's not on the next podcast. It wasn't in the video call that we had at work. It wasn't in a book that I read this morning. But I know that if I am getting set, that God is working behind the scenes. I don't need to know the conversations he's having between my problems. Uh-oh. I don't need to know the details of the conversation that God is working out between him and my problems. All I need to do is stay focused on the master and the master's plan. Yeah. In order for me to get to the next level, in order for me to depart, in order for me to get out of here, my get set stance is not a sign of delay. No, no, no. This is a sign of preparation. I'm getting ready. I don't know the time. I don't know when it's time to go. I don't know when it's time to get to the next, but I know the next is coming. So if I take this time and I let God talk to whoever he got to talk to get it all figured out and set it, because that's his business. I ain't got time for that. But if I take this time to get set, if I take this time to get prepared, if I take this time to get developed, then I can deal with the fresh manna I'm getting ready to get in my wilderness stage. Uh-oh. I didn't say you was going to the promised land immediately afterwards. And that's what scares us. That's what scares us, because we think that when we hit go, that God has taken us directly into a land flowing with milk and honey. Go is the next sign of further development. You got to be developed in order to be developed. Ain't that something? You got to get ready in order to get ready. It's a sign that God wants to be with you. God wants to have this relationship with you. He wants to have this communion with you. And your get set phase is the perfect time where we figure out for real, whether or not you got it like that relationship like that. There are 3 points. Focus on maintaining the posture by listening only to the coach. That is God. 3 applications for that. Turn down the noise of the crowd. I always wonder in those big games, how in the world do they just hear the coach and listen to the coach? I'd be like, what? In my son's soccer game, we had all the parents at the side. Now, I don't know nothing about sports. You can tell me they're doing wrong, I believe. You can tell me they're doing right, I believe you again. I ain't got no reason. I ain't got no evidence as to why I shouldn't believe you. But all the parents at the sideline are yelling at the kids up on the field. Do this, do that, go here. And the coach eventually had to come over and basically tell us in so many words. She didn't say it like this. She's a very nice lady. Very, very nice and kind lady. But basically she was saying, shut up and sit down, because I need them to listen to me, and they're not listening to me because they're listening to you. So it's not that they messing up on the play. It's that they don't know the play, because they so busy hearing your voice that they're not hearing mine. You have to learn how to turn down the noise of the crowd so you can be able to concentrate. You have to remove the distractions, the pressure from the sidelines, like comparison, critics, and your past failures. I understood that when God was bringing the Israelites out of Egypt and into the wilderness, they started complaining about how they had it so good in Egypt because the Egypt seemed like it was better than the wilderness. God took that moment in the wilderness to erase their memory. Yeah, no, I'm not taking you back to what you've been through. I'm not taking you back to where you've gone. I see that what's coming is better than what's been. And I understand you don't know that. I understand you don't know that. And I understand you fight me on it. But let me take this time to remind you that I'm God. I am your source. Don't go back to what's familiar. You got to turn down the noise of the crowd. Number 2, the coach's voice. It is important that you listen to God's voice, his voice alone. How do you do that? Turning down that noise and getting yourself in prayer. Having a prayer time, a prayer posture, so that way you can always hear God's what's next. What's next? A lot of times we turn down God because he's not telling us to go. No, I've learned that. I've learned that personally. I'm talking about myself now. We've turned down God's voice because he's not telling us go. God keeps saying, not yet. I need you to do this. Every time I say, okay, am I ready now? There's always something else. Whenever we're cleaning up around the house, eventually my son stopped asking me what's next. Because there's always something next. Eventually he catches on and he just comes and say, I'm done. I'm done. And that's what we do to God. Instead of going to God in our prayer time and saying, God, what's next? Because God keeps wanting us to do something else, wants to develop it. We just go to him and we say, we done. And God be like, excuse me, where, when, how, what? At what point in time was you done? No, I'm not done. I'm not done. No, I'm not done with you. I'm still developing you. I'm still molding you. Stay listening to the coach's voice. And you can only do that when you have a prayer life. Unwavering gaze, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. If you look around, you lose your balance. You have to stay focused. When them folks out there running up on that field, they don't be looking in the crowd trying to figure out their mama there. They don't be looking at the sidelines trying to figure out who dancing, who giving hand signals. Now for me, I'm like a goat. I just get distracted. I'm like, oh, I saw a fly. But where he going? It's probably something behind that. Everybody go, run the ball, run. I'm actually like, is that a kite? No, it's not a kite. Probably somebody just lost their balloons. Those some nice balloons, though. I wonder if they got it. That's me. I'm easily distracted. So I know I need to focus, have a fixed gaze on Jesus, fixing our eyes to the author and the finisher of our faith. Have a fixed gaze. There is nothing else that matters. And I'm not paying attention to nothing else. I'm tired of y'all and y'all stories. I didn't mean to say that part, but yeah, I did. I'm tired of y'all. Everybody invite. I told somebody the other day, I have started to decline all invitations to pity parties. I have. I ain't got nothing against you. Nothing against you. I'm a pray your strength in the Lord. But I'm just declining all invitations to pity parties. I'm not interested no more. I'm not interested. And I know you're like, well, could you send a gift? No, I can't. No, I can't. Because you always sad. You always sad. It's like I got to come for the funerals, which I understand, but you sad about stuff that now you lost that you should have got rid of years ago. I'm not coming to your pity parties. Fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. Faith is the most important thing. And that's it. That's our 3 points today. Turn down the noise of the crowd. Listen to the coach's voice. And have an unwavering gaze. Fix your eyes on Jesus, the author and the finisher of your faith. I really hope that you enjoyed this. I really hope that this helped you today. If it has, be sure to leave a like and a comment in the comment section below. Be sure to also subscribe. YouTube tells me that most of you who watch this show, you're not subscribed. So I'm calling you out. Subscribe today. I promise you, you will love it. And there's more content here on the channel that you can check out as well. Come back next week as we continue on in our series, On Your Mark.